Baby sister nodded to Rodella, and then turned to Fawn. Hey, Pinky. Sorry about earlier. I had to work you out a bit. Hellmouth likes to snatch up the killers early, baby sister said. Fuck you, Fawn said. Aw, don't pout. You'll get plenty of chances to kick my ass in a few months, baby sister said. Fawn said nothing. Not even a grin would slip past her defenses. Fawn wanted to fight with her here, in front of everyone, but it would be best not to goad this woman. Baby sister changed the subject. I've been on duty, running booters on the ground. They found Pops yet? Baby sister said. Rodella looked glumly at her food. No trace of him, Rodella said. Baby sister rubbed Rodella's back. He'll be alright. You know how Grandpops he is. Besides, we'll just grow him a new body. Good as new, baby sister said. Rodella scowled at the freckled woman. It's not that simple. Calling Deicide is nothing like you or anybody else. They have to start from scratch. All of the husks have to be scrapped. Everything recalibrated. He'll be a different man, Rodella said a little too loudly. Fawn hesitated for a moment before she spoke to Rodella. Have you been cloned? Fawn said. How could I? I never get to leave the ship, Rodella said. Baby sister chuckled. That's 'cause you're his sweetie, baby sister said. Shut up. Why do you think you're even allowed to eat in here? Rodella said. Hey, you're not a risk eater yet. And let's not forget I earned my spot, baby sister said. Rodella toned her voice down. Only because Deicide likes being surrounded by his bastards, Rodella said. I'm not the bastard here, baby sister said. No, you're just the daughter of one, Rodella said. Fawn smiled at that. Baby sister stood up and glared at Rodella. We both know you wouldn't have the fucking heart to say that if you weren't Daddy's girl, she said, before taking her tray and leaving. After Fawn had witnessed the exchange, she considered Rodella an ally. Her own time in the military had been difficult, with her famous parents and her Aunt Kari, a respected general. She understood the weight that people placed on you, forcing you to become someone you were not, could not be. Through numerous chats with Rodella, Fawn learned about the Yolapal's dark business and Deicide's true mission. Even after weeks on board, she could still not fathom how their society functioned on any level. The only thing that seemed as if it would work properly was the military, and she was unsure just where the military ended. Even so-called civilians still walked around with cordon loops. An item, she had reasoned, were elaborate military ribbons, and everyone wore an armband of one color or another. Later that day, Fawn was taken to another medical deck. She loved the sleek and flawless design of the Yolapal interior. She ran her fingers over the glossy walls as they turned left. The two women stopped just outside of a door that a group of female doctors were exiting. One of them was the gray-skinned Knot. Her yellow eyes met with Fawn's. She could not help but think they were two raw egg yolks sitting on a gray platter. Fawn watched her as she reprimanded her much taller subordinate. The long hair like antenna on her head stood up straight. Then they scattered as she turned toward Fawn. Everyone seemed to be feeling the aura of hate surrounding her. Rodella led her inside, and the door closed behind them. That was Lady Knot, Deicide's wife, the XO, Rodella said. I'm guessing she's the one everyone's actually afraid of, Fawn said, plopping down on the examination bench. Rodella nodded sheepishly. Lord Deicide is the strongest eater on board, Rodella said. But, Fawn said, the only thing he can do is kill you, Rodella said, just before the door slid open. It was Knot, with several of her staff members. This is her, Lady Knot, a woman to Knot's right said. Knot stepped forward, looking like a child in comparison to everyone else's height in the room. She was dressed in a type of lab coat. Though it was white, it looked nothing like any fabric Fawn had ever seen. Knot glanced briefly at Rodella, leaning in the corner, and her tiny mouth curled into a faint smile. I was told you were a fighter, Knot said. Fawn thought the accent sounded vaguely familiar, like some Eastern European, but sing-song. I handle myself, Fawn said. Your brother is a fine specimen. Tell me, have either of you thought of having children? Knot said. Well, not with each other, Fawn said. Her remark produced a chuckle from everyone but Knot. One of my duties on board the Yolapal is to rebuild the numbers of my people, Knot said. So far we have been unsuccessful with the pure obstrusion, but our obstrusion hybrids have thrived, especially our Baronians. Knot gestures to Rodella. Fawn looked back at the woman in the corner, noticing that her hair was such a dark shade of red to be an Oberonian, and that she had never seen an Oberonian without a set of antlers. It was then that Fawn remembered the argument between Rodella and baby sister. Fawn shook her head. "Look, I don't want anything to do with this family you're building," Fawn said. "That's fine," Nott said, putting her tiny hands together. "So you relinquish custody of any children your eggs will create." "What?" Fawn said. "It'll only be a few. Not like us gals need them all anyway," Nott said.